talk about wealth of knowledge. You bring it all together.
Put the work in now to get yourself structured and organized and documented.
We need to grow this top line.
There is no one size fits all for this industry.
Hey there, thanks for checking out this episode of the Restoration Masterclass on Profitability, sponsored by Encircle. Today, the topic is modern human resources, modern HR, what that looks like in a restoration company today to have your HR practices forward thinking and how that links back into this whole profitability topic that this entire masterclass series is on. So today I am joined by Marcie Richardson. She is the director of HR for Guarantee Restoration. They are in Louisiana, kind of Gulf Coast area. She is also behind the Team Talk column that you see in C&R, our e-newsletter every month, which has been super popular, and she covers all the topics under the sun related to HR. So I'm very excited to have Marcie here. Marcie, I'm going to toss it over to you and have you introduce yourself and share a little bit of background on Guarantee for people who maybe aren't familiar with the company itself.
Well, first of all, Michelle, thank you for having me. It is an honor. I loved all the talks so far, so I'm excited to be part of one. So first, give you a little bit background about me. I have covered all aspects of HR for almost 20-ish years, which is a really hard thing for me to say, anything that I've done for 20 years now. When I'm only 28, right? So
Yes.
It's hard that I've done anything for 20 years. But, I've covered everything from insurance to benefits to training and development, payroll, safety, you name it, I've done it. A little bit of background about Guarantee is that Guarantee has been around for 49 years. And with 5 locations and 150 employees, it's 49 years is a big testament to who we are. And when you think about a company that's been around for 49 years, you think of driven, you think of dedication, you think of a self-starter and staying power, right? And when I look around our team and what we have here at Guarantee, I see those values emulated into our employees. And when I look at the success that we've gained, we couldn't have done it without our employees, right? The size that we are, the capacity of jobs that we are able to handle, those employees, they're driven, they're motivated, and that is shown every day in what we do.
So how have you seen HR evolve over time, maybe from when you were early in your HR career to today? I think maybe the pandemic even had a lot to do with how things have evolved and what people expect out of the workplace. But how have you seen it evolve?
Yeah. So, 20 years ago, right, it was all personnel departments or just paper pushers. It was admin responsibilities, doing the checklist. You had somebody come in, they had to fill out all of their paperwork, their tax forms, their I-9 forms, right? And it just went to, hey, we got to check the box. It's something that we needed. Everybody hated the HR person, or when you had that disciplinary action, you had to go and sit in front of somebody who just wrote you up, and that was that, right? Where it's evolved, and you're right, Michelle, COVID pandemic definitely changed and switched to where we are. And it's definitely more employee experience focused. From the day that we started recruiting to the last day on job and everything in between right there is what HR has focused on. You have recruiting, you have onboarding, the training development, morale, employee engagement, exit interviews, you name it. And that is what we're focused on, is how the employee feels and that start to finish of the job.
Okay. All right. So how do you see HR tying into the overall ability of a company to be profitable? Like, you have it goes all back to employee relations, right? So how does it tie into this profitability topic that we're talking about?
Yeah. So, when we're talking about employee experience, the first thing we're talking about profitability, though, is the customer experience, right? The customer has to have that experience. So let's just say, for instance, you have an employee who isn't feeling valued. They're not motivated. Their supervisor just came and talked to them and just hammered them down. But hey, now we need you to go and do this sewer loss for this lady and I need you to be relatable and do the job well. Well, the one thing that we always talk about profitability, especially in the restoration industry, is the first thing that we do is we take care of the customer.
Yep.
Right. And so we're there to heal the customer first, to build trust. But if you're having an employee who's showing up who doesn't feel trusted by their employer, well, they're going to go and do a poor job. They're not going to connect with the customer. They're going to go in and just throw things around, do a half-assed job to be honest. And what is the other thing that we rely on as restoration companies? Referrals. So if we're going in there and doing a poor job, the employee's having a bad attitude, they're not going to tell their friends. They're not going to tell their family, hey, use Guarantee. That had a great experience from them. No. So when you're looking at profitability in the company, it's directly related to that employee experience, because the positive employee experience is going to create a positive customer experience. And then that phone's going to continue to keep ringing. Your margins are going to go up because you have somebody that's happy, that is takes the values on of the company, and they're going to show in their day-to-day work, talking to the employee, and it's just going to continue to things to elevate and to rise.
So talking about the comparison between like old school HR and modern HR, how much of your world today now, or your day-to-day, is the paperwork side of things versus all these other things that you've talked about that go into what it looks like to have a modern human resources kind of department or team or person, whatever that may be?
Yeah. So that's a really good question, because I think we still need that paperwork stuff, right? There's still compliance. We still have to have insurance and benefits and all of that stuff. And then what I actually look at, and the other term that I use, is people operations. People operations is the business function of HR. It's the strategic function. It's how you're looking at it from an elevated level of, hey, how are we going to do and analyze different data that we get to increase productivity? How are we going to structure development programs to get a better employee? So for me, I am lucky to have a team of people. That I have a team that does the HR compliance functions, that do the day-to-day operations, that have it. And then that allows me to focus on the people operations, that I can go and do bigger initiatives and drive those things that we know that are going to improve and to continue to push forward what we're needing here.
Okay, without giving away all the Guarantee secret sauce, what are some of those initiatives that you've found to be maybe the most successful, the ones that really get your team motivated and then in turn help them connect with your customers or be more positive at work, be more engaged, be more willing to go to those sewer losses or get calls in the middle of the night or whatever that may be?
Yeah. So the first and simplest thing is you got to engage your employee, right? You just have to show up. You have to show them that you do value them, and it can't be fake. And that's the big thing, is that it's not just a checkbox. Hey, I went and said hi to everybody today, that you actually spend some time. There's a book, Radical Candor. And one of my favorite quotes in that: emotional labor is part of your labor, your day-to-day stuff. And so you have to take some time to invest in your employee, because the thing they walk in as people. What they're doing behind their desk or in their job, that's what makes them an employee, but they're still the person. So for us, we're just showing up and just being ourselves is the first and foremost thing. The other thing is actually show that there's value in their job. A lot of people in restoration, they're here because they want to give back. They want a value. And so we have to show that their value isn't just a mundane day-to-day thing. We've created advancement tracks, or a pathway to how somebody can improve, they can grow in what they're doing. Hey, if you're a technician, here's the pathway that you can be to be a mitigation project manager. Or if you want to go into the construction, or if you want to be, go into accounting even, or in our claims department, we have put those pathways together to give back. And what that all comes down to, Michelle, is that we know if we're investing in an employee, and it's not just job specific stuff. We're not just giving them all of the courses they need. We're investing in their leadership skills, their communication skills, giving them classes, effective communications. We're investing right now on giving Spanish classes to employees. That's something that, hey, we are going to need, and we recognize that that's something coming up. We're wanting to improve the person because we know we're going to get a better ROI, right? A better employee at the end of the day if we're building a better person.
Okay, so drill into that a little bit more. I was thinking as you're talking about that, I bet that there are some owners listening to all this going, that's a lot of investment in your people. I don't know that I can invest that much in my people, or that I want to spend that much to invest in my people, whatever that may be. So how have you truly seen that translate into bottom line revenue, profitability, growth of Guarantee, all of those things?
Right. So first of all, there's the saying, right? If you invest in your employee and they leave, but if you don't invest them, they stay, right? So that's the basic of how we look at everything, is that we're going to invest because we're going to get that return. Less warranty calls, less callbacks. The phone's going to continue to ring on those referrals, right? Some of the other KPIs that we look at is our retention and turnover. We have a very low turnover here. And when you're looking at how much money it costs to onboard a new recruit and onboard and train an employee, you're looking at roughly now $10,000 to $12,000 per employee to get them up to speed of who they're replacing, right? So just on that bottom line, $10,000 to $12,000, I mean, that's a chunk of change for any size company that you are, right? But when you're investing and you're giving them that training, and it doesn't have to be big. And I know it seems that I'm throwing a lot of things out there and a lot of big initiatives, but start small, right? Again, like I said, of how we're doing it, the first thing is showing up and just talking, right? It's just having a conversation. You just start to smile and then you invest. As owners, and I've seen this firsthand, is they're so driven on, hey, what's going on, the day-to-day operations? What is bringing in the money? Where are we on margins? But we forget to just have that 30-second conversation. Hey, how's the family? Hey, how's the kids' baseball game last night? Did they win? Great example right now that happened this morning. My stepdaughters are in the playoffs. They're one game away from winning to go to the championship. My CEO, Sean Folks, called me this morning. Hey, you ready for the game tonight? And that right there, just for me, is something simple that we can do that's going to increase. I mean, think of the pep in the step your employees are going to have. They say, you know what? My manager, my owner just came and asked me how my family's doing. He's going to walk into that customer's home and say, you know what, ma'am, sir, I'm here to help you. I'm so-and-so with Guarantee Restoration, and I'm going to take care of your loss. And that's already put an ease to the customer, and it's going to continue to see the results tenfold just by doing something as simple as engaging.
Before we wrap it up, I want you to talk a little bit about positivity as well, because I know that you do very purposeful things within Guarantee that relate to positivity, and that feeds into the culture and a lot of the things that we're talking about. But how important talk about some of the little things that you do to help increase positivity. I know that you've talked about engaging directly with people and knowing them, but I know that there's more things that you do. So talk a little bit about that.
So, positivity first, it's an attitude. And so we try to, we can have cruddy days at home, but it's all about being enthusiastic. But some of the things that we do that's simple. I do Wednesday Wowzers. And a Wednesday Wowzer, I guarantee, is an email that goes out. And we say, you know what, team, share something amazing that somebody has done and gone above and beyond, right, for us in the past week. And all of a sudden, we'll get our emails flooded with all of these things, these Wednesday Wowzers that people say, you know what? I saw Joe, he stepped up and he went and did this. Or, hey, he wasn't on call, but he came in and did this job. That's a simple thing to share and to boost the morale. And somebody gets a recognition, right? Somebody the main thing, what do people love the most? They love their name. And they love hearing their name, and they love being recognized for some of those things that they've done. So Wednesday Wowzers have been really successful. And then on that same note is I do what I call a morning sprinkle. And it can sound so simple and so cheesy at days, but what it is, and it all came from the premise that the phrase smile, you never know who needs it. And when you have 5 branches, we can't see everybody every day. We can't see what they're going through. And so I send these little bits of motivation, these little bits of sunshine I like to see. And I will tell you, Michelle, every single day I get an email, Marcie, that hit me today. Or, hey, you know what? Thank you for doing that. I understand. I need to do that. It's just those little bits of nuggets that I can put and impart on somebody that can just kind of, hey, you know what? I'm good. I'm working for somebody that actually cares and can do those things. Yes. So those are the easy, those cost no money, right? I'm not going to lie. There are days that I have sprinkle block. And that is where sometimes Pinterest is your best friend. You can look a lot of things up, but there are some days that if I know I'm feeling or going through something, there is a good chance somebody else will too.
Yes. You share stuff even on LinkedIn. You shared something the other day and I commented, I'm like, I needed to see that today. Thanks. So
right.
Yes, that's absolutely true. Anything you want to add before we wrap it up related to modern HR, profitability, anything under the sun?
I think that employee experience is really intentional,
Mhm.
and whether you're a small company or a large company, however much you can invest, starting is key. And so whatever you do is just start doing that. And I promise you are going to see those margins increase. You're going to see your turnover decrease. You're going to hear that phone continue to call back. So just start small, and then you're going to continue to gain the momentum on that.
Yes, perfect. Well, Marcie, thank you so much for all of your wisdom and knowledge and a lot of really actionable tidbits that you gave as well, which is super helpful for anybody who's listening to this. I look forward to seeing you at some events this year. Thank you for all you do for the industry as well and the columns that you write for C&R. I appreciate you a lot. Have a great day.
Thank you, Michelle. Have a great day.